Alright, now that I've had some time to dissect the case a little bit, yeah, this thing is massive. So for front radiator support, you know, you could just do like a 480 millimeter radiator that's like a mile and a half wide. Yeah. By the way, hand for scale. Just remember, I am a 6 foot, 200 pound guy with relatively large hands. That is gigantic. You could easily fit a 60 mil rad here with push-pull fans. I removed the drive cage because honestly, I'm not really planning on using it. But I could also mount it down in the undercarriage here, but I'm worried about interfering with my radiator. And as you guys probably guessed, I am more interested in having a water cooling chassis than having a large amount of hard drives. By the way, seriously though, take a look at this. So you've got two 5 1/4 inch bays that you can remove with 4 screws, and you could go for, and I kid you not, 4 by 140 millimeter thick radiators. The front panels there are actually filtered, so you could use that as intake, and while it's not officially supported, that is ridiculous. And then up top, I think you could actually do a 3 by 140 millimeter fans. I don't know, I haven't tested it yet, but the way that it looks, it definitely looks like it'll support it. You've got 2 different spots where you can put your power supply. You can either put it right here, having it flipped in either orientation, or you could have it here. And then you can move this grommeted hole, because this is just, yet again, held on by 4 screws, down to here, and you can use the entire bottom section as a water, like essentially as a water area. Because you could end up putting 2 360 millimeter radiators right at the bottom here. I was kind of thinking about using the drives, and then trying to put like the drives and then a 240 millimeter radiator there, but I haven't quite figured that out yet. I'm still kind of working on it. But even if I don't use this drive cage, there's still 2 3 1/4 inch drive bays just mounted to the back of the chassis. This is how much room you have. Like, I cannot stress this enough. This is enough room where you could run 3/8 inch tubing literally in the back section without any issue. I'm like not even kidding. You could literally run your tubing down the back of your rig and have it be like super stealth build, which is actually what I'm hoping to be able to do. Like this thing is just, it's massive. And it's also got a vertical GPU mount with a really tough bracket. So in theory, you could put your power supply like right here, underneath your graphics card vertical mount, and then motherboard in the back tray. The only thing about this case that I find funny is that they say, oh yeah, it doesn't actually support EATX motherboards. This thing is gigantic. What do you mean it doesn't support EATX motherboards? Oh, you know, it just overhangs the grommets a little bit. That's supposed to bother me. Why? Yeah, so, I'm gonna fool around with this thing a little bit, and I will catch back up with you guys in a couple of minutes. So, yeah, honestly, I am almost overwhelmed by just how much stuff you can put inside of this case. It is phenomenal. Alright. Alright, you guys, I've been working on this thing for about 5 hours now. I'm gonna be calling it a night pretty soon, but I wanted to show you guys the progress that I've made so far. So, I've tested out a bunch of different configurations, and I've pretty much decided on running dual 360mm radiators in the basement, moving the power supply up to the upper level, because it also helps to fill out this space. I'm going to be running my X79 UD3. I pretty much decided on my X79 board because it was one of the nicest boards that I have, and I wanted this build to be ridiculous. So I'm just going to use what I've got. Also, I'm going to be running, obviously, my RX 5700 XT. But I'm going to try and avoid using the vertical mount, the actual bracket, because the bracket does not actually play nicely with my actual vertical mount. I can pick up a Thermaltake, like a Thermaltake designed vertical mount, or a riser cable, sorry. One of these things, and I could end up then using that bracket, but I'm not overly concerned because this thing does actually have notches where the graphics card will slot into and actually like gets held there pretty well. And then I'm going to get my motherboard mounted, and I'm going to try then to mount out the bottom fans so this can actually get fully mounted, and then I might call it a night for tonight because I do have to work tomorrow. But yeah, so far, I mean, this thing is getting kind of ridiculous. I mean, obviously, it was going to be ridiculous right from the get-go. But just the realization that I'm running dual 360mm radiators in the basement, I'll be able to run, and I'm not kidding about this, a 560mm radiator in the front, and another 360mm radiator in the top. So if I truly max out this system, I'm looking at dual 360s for one loop, and a 560 and 360 for a second loop. That is just freaking madness! That's more radiator than Jay had in Skunkworks. This thing is freaking huge! Okay, I need to get back to work before I like start mentally losing it. Alrighty, you guys, welcome back to another little video. Actually, wait, what am I talking about? This is just day 3. Yeah, I know I skipped day 2, but I was helping my grandmother move, and I was also working on a different video. I was working on my dual socket system video. By the way, I don't know if that one's coming out before this one or after this one. I've kind of got so many projects in the works right now. Everything's just kind of up in the air. But yeah, I want to keep working on Gojira, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so let me show you how far I have gotten. Now, I spent a good couple hours yesterday just literally staring at the build, trying to figure out what I wanted to do with it. And I kind of threw some parts in just to see how it was going to fit, and I think I have decided on my layout. So, as unfortunate as it is, I am sacrificing having a 360mm radiator in the front for having a 240 plus my hard drive cage. So the hard drive cage mounts right at the bottom here, and it can actually give the second radiator enough room still for having push-pull if I wanted to. And having the extra drive cage means that I'll have the ability to have 3 more spinning drives. So I'm kind of compromising a 120mm worth of radiator for 3 hard drives. Which, having a 360 and a 240 hooked up to just one GPU, I figured was probably going to be sufficient cooling. Especially being the fact that it's just an RX 5700 XT. But because I'm using the 360 and the 240 at the bottom, my power supply has kind of migrated up to here. And honestly, I kind of like where it's at. It really does help to fill out this space. And I was originally toying with the idea of going GPU vertical mount, but I honestly think that that is just going to make the system look kind of cluttered, especially when I want to try to go for something more of a minimalist style on the loop. So, yeah, and as you guys can see, I took out the grommets. That's why I'm really not concerned about the power supply getting enough air, because it's actually got quite a bit of air room, as well as one of the grommets right underneath it to feed the fan. But, yeah, I'm actually looking at using these two holes for the grommets, or to actually use them for the pass-through fittings for both the CPU and the GPU. And I actually had a little idea. Now, this was the first one that I made. This is ABS plastic. I actually cut it right here so it can bend a little bit. But this is ABS plastic that can actually fit right over top. And assuming I line it up good enough, I actually really like that. Also, it's not cutting off any air circulation to the power supply. It gives us plenty of room right here to actually be able to mount the pass-through fittings right here, and then run them right to the graphics card and the CPU. Now, that's kind of where I've been leaning towards this, because I think that would probably be the easiest as well as the cleanest. I'm also looking at making a patch panel for the back wall right here. I'm also looking at making a patch panel for this part right here, but this part is kind of a more special fun part. This is just going to be where I mount my radiators. Mount my reservoirs. But I haven't fully gotten to that point yet. I'm still working on that one. I'll probably make that patch panel next, and then see if I can get it properly lined up and drill some holes for it. Because we have these really nice holes like right there, right here, and then at the bottom like right here, and then right there. So I can very easily mount a piece of ABS plastic right to it, and it should give me quite a bit of structural rigidity to like where I'm mounting the reservoir. So I'm going to try to get that done real quick. The only thing that I really did was I pulled out this thing, the vertical mount, and then the two 5 1/4 inch bay drives. These kind of made me sad. Like, I legitimately wanted to use a disk drive in this thing, but because of what I'm planning on doing up here, it ain't gonna happen. And I already have a external disk drive, so I don't really need one. It's just kind of, it would have been cool. It would have been cool to have an overkill system with a disk drive. Also, I need to put this down in this spot, so it's actually covering up where the bottom radiator is. Alright, I'm gonna get back to work. Alright, so this is what I came up with for this back panel here. So my thought, I have a little cutout in the corner there for the front panel connectors. So my thought is actually like double-siding taping this thing down, marking where I need to drill holes, and then drilling holes and getting this mounted. I also made a little bit of a discovery. As you can see, I have my cable down here. Kind of unfortunate thing is, yeah, you guys can't really see it, but this is, yeah, the radiator mount is kind of blocking any large bundles of cables going through that area. But there's enough room that I was able to run the, like these are for the hard drives and everything, so I was able to run that. But I don't think I'm going to be able to hide any cables in the bottom chamber. But that should be fine in theory. But I was planning on passing the tubing down into like where the backside is, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that. But what I will be able to do is run the tubing through the front here. Now this area is blocked off, and then these areas are kind of like there's a little bit of a side to them, but I should be able to run the tubing from like the spot right here or right here, and then run it down to here where it then can enter into the basement unimpeded pretty much. That's at least kind of the hopeful plan. I don't know if it's going to work. Okay, so I've got this panel now stuck in with double-sided tape, so I can mark where I need to drill, and then I can drill out the holes, and just use some M3 screws and nuts to get that bolted down. Also, in my kind of discovery about things, I realized I just don't really know how I'm going to get a front radiator to work. And especially when I could just block it out like what I'm doing there, and I could have a lot of fun using pass-through fittings because, frankly, the front of this thing is so deep that I can actually mount an SC600 water pump on the inside of the front panel. So, yeah, I'm kind of debating back and forth about what I want to do. I know if I didn't run a front intake radiator, that would technically be a lot of negative pressure, but I don't think it's really gonna matter because there's so much ventilation around this case. So I'm gonna get this thing mounted in. I'll probably drill some holes and mount this one as well just to see what it's like, and I will catch back up with you guys later. Alright, so I have gotten both panels drilled and completely screwed in. Like, these things are solid now. I'm going to end up sticker bombing them, so it's going to cover up this little gap here. But other than that little gap right in the middle, it is actually very, very straight. Now it's kind of where I'm kind of debating about things. I'm going to make a little patch panel for the bottom here as well. But now I'm not really sure how I want to set things up. I'm almost feeling like taking the 011 dynamic route and just like twin pipes into there and then twin pipes into there. And then I can just run the tubing in the back to then like where this stuff is, and then from here all the way down. Yet again, I'm not exactly sure what I want to be doing. Because there's so many options, and I don't even necessarily need to have them come through this panel. I can use this panel for reservoirs, and then have them come through the bottom panel. But then if I have them coming through the bottom panel, then it's just like, I don't know. I'm just kind of thinking about it and thinking my way through things. It's going to take me some time, but I'll get through it. So, yeah, I'm going to make this little patch panel here, and then probably start sticker bombing and see how it looks from there. So, after careful deliberation, I decided that I don't actually like this panel. You know, my whole thought is that it's going to create such a negative pressure inside of the case that it's going to cause it to get super, super dusty. So I'm just going to gently pull off the stickers that are connecting the two, fully sticker bomb this piece, get rid of the front piece, and then put back in a 240 mil rad. I could go bigger. Obviously, I could go up to a 480, but unfortunately right now I only have a 240 that I can put up there, because I mean I got a 360 up top, I got a 360 in the bottom, and a 240 in the front. So in other words, what I'm going to have is a 360 and a 240 per component, being one for the CPU, one for the GPU. I think that's an overall better idea. Honestly, it just kind of stinks. Because it's like, I really do want to do something fun with the front of the case, but I'm just thinking that like there's really no other good option. So I'm going to get this panel completely sticker bombed, get it remounted, get rid of the front panel. I'm going to still use a patch panel up here so I can do my tube routing the way that I want to. And then I will have to wait and see. Yeah, that's about all I got for right now. I think I'm gonna end this video off here. Like, I'm still helping my grandma move and everything, and it's been a lot, but I've also been spending a lot of time on this thing. So I think I'm done with this for today once I get this stuff done, and yeah, I mean, that's about the best I got, so I guess I'll see you guys later. I really have no self-control. I said I was going to be done for the night, but I just kept working. So essentially what I have decided on, and this I actually really like, is that I'm going to go with my slim 240 up front, hooked on with 2 of my maglevs, and this radiator is actually surprisingly thin, so it really doesn't interfere with putting the reservoirs on the back wall here. I also have this piece, which is actually quite easily, is relatively easily removable, so I'll be able to get to all of the tubing underneath it. Now, I'm going to have to run the tubing through these 2 ports, and then run them next to the radiator, and then underneath the radiator into the bottom panel. Primarily because of the way that the back is set up, like I had said earlier, but this is coming along quite nicely. I also, like I think I showed already, I also have my cable for all of my hard drives and my Molex connector all running at the bottom. I'm going to need to probably get another Molex pump. Either another Molex pump or, I'm not really sure, because I do have my 2 SC600s. These are actually, I have both of them set up to be variable speed pumps. They're both really good pumps. This one's Molex. But the other one is a 3-pin fan. Actually, if I've got the Molex connector, because I've got it like literally right there, no, that should work. That should be just fine. Yet again, guys, I'm overthinking it because I'm working so much on this project. I'm really liking how it's coming out so far, but it'll be a big wait because I have to get more tubing of my soft tubing. I could do up all the hard tubing because I do have enough for that, but I don't have any soft tubing. So, yeah. It's gonna kind of be waiting for soft tubing. That's gonna be the next big step. So I guess I will sign this one off here, showing you guys what I've gotten done. I'll probably bring you guys along for mounting the reservoirs and probably running the hard tubing. But then I'll probably do like all the wiring and everything off screen just so I can get it done. I don't know, I feel like there's like just so much to do, but at the same time there's not that much to do. But yeah, I'll see you guys later. Peace.